Folks, what's going on? It's your boy here, man, Arden, aka the head honcho of the Force Side, along with being known as the newly member of the Pfizer Poppy team. Welcome to a new member.
Hey.
Welcome to a new episode of the Commission. Hope all is well with everybody as we go ahead into episode 4. There's something special about this number. I think you know why. Again, I have a great crew with me. You see the guys, you see the regime, you see the team, Steely, Imani, Armand, Regina, the homie Gianni behind the camera, making sure the vision is captured ever so beautifully. And of course, we got to talk about what's going on in the culture because it's been a little minute since we talked about it. Heck, it's been a while since we've been together in the same room. What's up, guys?
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, it was literally last year.
It's April now, so.
Life is crazy. Life is crazy. But before we get into the topics, what's up? Who wants to volunteer? How have folks been doing?
We're good.
How's everybody living?
Glad to see that everyone's COVID free.
Yes,
We have facts on that.
Officially.
Big
Right.
facts.
You know, still undefeated.
But we still in a
never lost.
pandemic.
Yeah,
Stay safe.
We are still in the
it's a
pandemic.
panoramic.
Yeah.
Panoramic.
Yeah.
That's been my
Like-
favorite word to say.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Pan cheddar, pan pizza.
Pan cheddar is a new one.
That's a new one. I never heard
that
that.
That is a good one for real. Shout out to Lounge Studios for letting us record here. Salute to John and the staff that's been holding it down, man. And to get into today's episode, because there's quite a few things to talk about, of course, we have to pay our respects to not only the late DMX, but unfortunately, as we started recording, news came out about the legendary Black Rob passing away as well. Our condolences and thoughts to their family and friends. And when thinking about this, and Steely, I'll kick this off with you, right? When we go back to X, losing X, now we're losing Black Rob. What are your initial feelings about learning about the passing of these two men?
All right, so just starting with X, just to the point of being from Westchester and just being from the 9, X is just literally, I don't think we can really say like the icon of a person that we had like that, like to the point of the impact that he kind of gave us and how he hit us. And just to the point of like, especially if you're from Yonkers, I'm not from Yonkers, but just if you're from Yonkers, he gives you pride in a sense of identity where it's like, you know, like that's someone that you want to rep in your town and rep where you're from. And just also just to the point of like, when he was in the hospital and everyone was just trying to praying for him to push through, it created these moments of just like, when we're going through his catalog, it's like you remembered where you are. You got these nostalgic feelings. You saw all the people that was outside. You saw like, it was just like, for a moment, you kind of forgot about all the bullshit. Like for me, like you forgot about, and just seeing people out there, like you forgot about the pandemic. You forgot about the, you know what I'm saying? Like just all the political bullshit. It was just about like, yo, this man that is just a real, just big impact to hip hop and what he is, and also being an icon from the 9. Like just how like, you know, Brooklyn has Biggie and Brooklyn has Jay. Like this was our icon. Like this was like someone, and not saying like we also don't have the great people that came from the 9, but just to the point of DMX being who he was and the impact that he did, and us having that icon and everyone in the world knowing who he was and knowing that like just the way to go, bro. Like it kind of just, yeah, it's bittersweet. It fucking sucks, but
Yeah, and before I give this to Imani, I wanted to add to that as well because again, like repping Westchester the way I do and seeing our fight to try to get recognition, it brought me to a point of realizing like, yo, for the last year, the only time Westchester has been in the national scene has been the tragedy. Westchester County was looked at as the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic when things started
hell
because of what happened with the New Rochelle man. All of something, basically a year later, the only time we get to see Westchester on Double XL, all these major news sources, and not to diss him, but it comes in the form of X fighting for his life and ultimately losing it. So that hit me really hard too, because I'm like, damn, like all of us from the crib are trying to fight this fight to give bigger recognition, but the only time we've gotten it has come in the name of tragedy, unfortunately. Imani, how have you felt about the recent losses?
I mean, it hits close to home, not just from like, you know, a hip hop perspective, but just based on the fact that, you know, X touched all of us here in Westchester and in music, like globally. You know, I know everybody has like 6 degrees of separation to everybody in especially Lower Westchester, but you know, X touched a lot of the people that are in my family. You know, neighborhood friends, like close. It's just hard talking about it. I get choked up about it. Only the real survive from Mount Vernon Hospital, so only the real can relate. No, but on a serious note, it's just beyond words. I'm just thankful that I lived in an era where I got to see not only someone prosper in such a space, but like significantly impact fans and just culture in general. So I'm just thankful. I just wish that he was just gone too soon. I don't know any other way to put it without getting emotional. But,
He was.
Regina.
So as we talk about, death and loss and all that, I just want to remind people that I'm so thankful that we got the Drink Champs episode that he did, because what he said during it, he said, when it's my time to go, I've lived a good life. And, I could talk for hours and hours and hours, the impact and like how iconic he was larger than life. But I just want to highlight that because like I pray, I like wish that mindset on everybody. Like just the watching him live such a full life. I want to focus on that and being like, when we remember him in those moments, like those random food stands that he would be like, oh, let me cook with you guys. Let me dance at this wedding with you in this lobby. Like there were so many clips that came out after that. So I know life is hard. I know death is the only inevitable thing for all of us, but you can live a full life so that you could leave this earth with that mindset. Like, you know what, if tomorrow's my time to go, I know it's eerie talking about, when your time is, but you can have that mindset being like, you know what, my loved ones know that I love them. I lived a full life. And if it's my time, then I've lived a good life. So that quote really, I love seeing that clip of him, even though he's gone, and rest in peace, DMX.
Armand.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, like I love that he was at peace, but I love that he was able to get his flowers too. Like I think back to the versus battle that he had with Snoop, and it just reminding people of all the iconic music he made during our childhood. Like I think it was the movie Like Mike when Bow Wow was singing in the car, like barking and shit. It's so funny, but it's like I just immediately think back to stuff like that and like growing up with his music. And I don't deal well with death at all, like whether it's my family or whether it's like people that I respect in the culture. So it's tough to really like think about and process too much, but knowing that he was happy with his life, with everything he's been through, and that people had such great things to say about him is it makes it a lot easier to process. So I just hope we continue this. Like, I think right around with Nipsey passing, giving flowers became more of a big thing for everyone. And it's not like, oh, like now you care about this person, now you're a fan of them. Like people are just sharing. It's like, all right, you might not have known about DMX, so now I'm going to put you onto his discography rather than it being a thing of, oh, I was on him longer, stuff like that. So yeah, I just love the positive conversation around it. And yeah, man, well wishes to his family and everyone who's really affected by it.
And what you said, especially with the Like Mike reference, that's a classic.
I remember that so clearly.
Clearly. I really enjoyed that because of the fact that even with Black Rob, right? Like you said, ladies and gentlemen, right before we started recording, we found out about Black Rob's untimely passing. One of the first things I thought of was like, yo, whoa, growing up at 7, 8, that was high key one of the best and most frequently played records in the street. Like I know all the time we talk about, oh, you got to be outside. Man, I remember young Arden with the braids rolling through the South Side playing ball. Whoa was one of those records
Young
that
Arden
was
with the
played
braids
all the time. And I think about what he did on Bad Boys for Life.
I have a visual memory of Arden with braids rolling through the hallways with a backpack on, strap ready to play basketball. It's a vivid memory.
The young
confirmation
legend
can be given after the show.
But like, nah, you gotta edit it in.
I might mess around and give it to Jesus. Right. But just thinking about Black Rob and that record, right? When we're talking about positive moments, I think about that, right? I think about just the records with X, right? You think about hearing the first time again as a kid, hearing Party Up, and then hearing What's My Name, and it just gives back good memories, man. Before we move on to the next topic, anybody want to contribute any of their favorite memories, or who can remember, yo, what was that first time you heard X? What was that first time or one of your favorite times listening to Whoa by Black Rob? Like, anybody want to contribute any memories?
What is the joint X? Like, I remember like these freestyles with X. I remember necessarily X being on the radio and it was a freestyle with him, I believe Nori, and I want to say Fab.
Well, we taking it back to 97,
Yeah,
98.
and it was like, bro, like
Cool.
I'm not supposed to be up. I'm not supposed to be able to hear this. And literally, bro, like I went to school the next day and I literally was able to spit X's rhyme word for word verbatim, and I was just so, and like the thing that got me so hyped was when I was that like young, I didn't realize how far Yonkers was from us. Like so I didn't realize like he was like, he's from Yonkers, and I was like, why you keep saying that? Like I know where that is. And they're like you do know where it is. You play ball there. I'm like, no, I don't. Like Yonkers is like probably in Brooklyn or something. They're like, no, you idiot. Like Yonkers is in. I'm like, he's from where we're from. And that, we couldn't tell me nothing after that. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. Have you ever taken
the 7 bus?
Exactly. But that's my point. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was a big deal. It was super dope.
Yeah. One thing I appreciate about you may or may not know my brother of Alpha Phi Alpha, and strolling to music makes you appreciate it on a whole other level. Like I remember, like
here he goes.
But like being younger, hearing No Hands, like, oh, this is a really good song, and then as time passes, certain big songs aren't as big anymore. You might hear it in a party, but strolling to No Hands made it bigger for me. So there's one yard show we did where we did one of our classic Alpha strolls to Where the Hood At. And I was like, damn, I really loved this song when I was a kid. And like, I forgot how much I loved it. And now the fact that anytime I hear it, I immediately just want to bust out these Alpha moves. Like it makes it take on a whole new life for you. So yeah, anytime I think of strolling or Alpha, I immediately go to that record. So yeah.
Hey guys, seriously, X, Black Rob, we love you. We miss you. We're always appreciative of what you guys have done for our culture as fans and much more. Again, respects and thoughts to their families and friends and much more. And Regina, we're going to kick off this next topic with you. It's crazy to think, ladies and gentlemen, about the fact that, again, I'm pretty nice with it.
You are.
Regina was like,
we're officially a year into this pandemic, into this panoramic, into the penny times, semi times, whatever all these nicknames that have come about, Pennywise.
Oh my God.
And it's given us to a point, Regina, where now we have seen what all of us in the music industry have gone through, what we're capable of doing, what we aren't capable of doing. So, Regina, this is a 2-part question that you're going to kick this off with. 1, what did you learn about yourself most throughout this pandemic? And 2, what did you learn most from seeing everybody else move in this pandemic?
The thing that I learned about myself most was, everybody was us content creators, everybody was kind of like scrambling to adapt to it. But I realized that I like staying true to myself because I know I like the in-person shit. I know we have done the Zoom episode and I love that obviously. But I just couldn't get with the transitioning to the digital only that everybody was doing. Even the huge platforms were doing it, Billboard, Genius, everybody. But I was just like, you know what? I'm going to wait until we can do this again because I know myself and I want to stick to the type of content that I want to create. So I just want to say that you don't have to adapt to what everybody else is doing. Just do what works for you. I know it's very different on my scale of me creating content versus like a big publication who has to like put those ad numbers up. But I don't know. I think you can make it work staying true to what you want to do. And then watching everybody else move though, I'm about to contradict myself because watching them adapt was fire. I was like, you get that social media content up, you put up those digital rap battles. So yeah, I appreciated both sides of it. But with me, I learned to like really stay true to myself and just not fold to the pressures of what everybody else is doing.
Armand, what about you?
Man, I really learned to like give myself time and grace and patience. Like, when life was normal and I was working 5 days a week and then coming home and having to write and then doing interviews over the weekend, stuff like that, I was just constantly moving. I felt like I had to. And being forced to be home all day and take that break, it's like, well, all right, you might write or do whatever for like 6 hours out of the day. Then you got another 18. Obviously I'm going to sleep, but it's like, bro, you can go play some Call of Duty. It's okay. Like you're not wrong for doing something you enjoy. You can go, you can drink, you can watch a show, you can take a nap. Like you can do things you enjoy. Like our generation has really romanticized this work yourself to the bone idea, this team no sleep, hashtag
I'll
team
sleep
no
when
sleep.
I'm dead.
No. Like
We
you
all got
operate
the same 24 hours.
Right, and we do, but you have the same 24 hours to do something you enjoy. Completely do no type of work stuff. Just do something for yourself, and you need rest. Like sleeping on sleep is the stupidest thing you can do. You need You need to be healthy to operate at your best. I think the thing that I've learned the most watching other people is, and I think I got over this maybe like a couple years ago, but in the pandemic, and we talk about it a lot, we saw a lot of content creators really rise up and get a lot of attention, notoriety, things like that. And, I've really learned that I don't have to measure myself against what someone else is doing. You can clap for someone and just clap for them and not immediately make it a damn, what am I doing? I'm not doing enough, stuff like that. And it's so important because our work, we get very personally connected to it. We get very emotionally attached to it. And we creators are insecure, but watching someone else and clapping for them and being happy for them can motivate you, and you can put it into your work as well. So it's not a comparison thing. It's just it's more so like an inspiration thing, being inspired by people and not always feeling the need to try to one up other people.
Imani?
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I've been learning in this pandemic, y'all. I think the only thing I've learned is probably different cooking recipes and
you've been a homebody for real.
Yeah, like
an honest queen.
Yeah, and just like random skills like making my own shea butter. Like I
think it's good to highlight that because all you did was like indulge in things like that, and that's fine too. Like not everybody had to freaking start a business. Like
I don't even know how to do that.
We'll talk about this after the show.
Honestly, it's not as hard as they make it seem. You just gotta be nice with the wrist.
I like that. Silly shea butter. You said nice with the wrist?
It's all about the whip.
Trap money.
Listen, Young Thug taught me well. But, honestly,
not everybody had to use the time to do something revolutionary. Like as long as you survived.
Yeah,
do something for yourself.
I mean, like most similar to you guys, like I learned how to pour into myself, like with like learning cooking recipes and shea butter, baby secrets. I mean, and all this other shit. I learned just how important it is to put myself first because I spent a lot of time in the pandemic and before the pandemic catering to other people's needs, and in it, I lost somebody very important to me, and even though they're gone and I do cherish them. I do notice how being a caretaker can be like really, it can be really hard on you. So, in general, without being overly emotional, definitely getting back to myself was like super important, and all those like shea butter shit. So
shout out to you.
Yeah,
really,
we love you.
I learned the importance of family and really close friends too, and I really thank you guys, even though I be kicking shit.
Am I allowed to hug you?
Family
I
goes
feel
back
it.
and forth. Oh man,
what a beautiful. I really feel it because I really feel your heart as you talk about
totally
it.
am okay with you kicking
real.
my ass. I'm so fine with that.
No, seriously,
you
I'm
know
just
it comes
so.
from a passionate
We
place.
know, like you be taking care of your family.
I'm really thankful for like the jokes in the group chat and just like talking about things that I love with you, and the fact that we all share a passion for music and pop culture. It just brings me such joy because I really just I'm just so grateful. That's the only thing that I guess new that I've learned. It's just like a new sense of gratitude and like really cherishing the people that you love.
That's real. And hey, we got a lot of love for you, Monty.
Thank you.
You hold us down just like we hold
More
you
jokes
down.
to come. We got you.
I might cry, but I'm not pussy.
Nigga, that's what I'm talk about it.
She was like, I might cry and punch you dead in your
One of Imani's haters just looking at it like, yo, she pussy. Like, you gotta.
Nah. Only real people can tap into their emotions like that.
And G, don't get a close up on my nails because they ain't done.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
That was.
Steely, what about you?
Why would you put me after that? I can't fucking.
Now you can't. That was so raw. Like that was so like.
You can't, but I care about you.
I appreciate it.
He's like, you can't, but go ahead.
Good. One thing I will sit here and say, I definitely got inspired, and I'm not just saying this because you inspired me in different ways of looking at my music, so that actually really helped a lot. But also another thing I did, I found out that my content can go past just my music. Mm-hmm. So I was able to connect with Gianni, and we did like a show about us creating our music and our projects, and it was called Survive the Losses. And I didn't realize how much of the conversation piece, like I didn't realize me having a conversation was something that people were into. And
That is a conversation.
Yeah.
About your conversation.
Yeah, like, and it was such a thing to the point where like I would talk and a lot of people would react to that. And like, yeah, like I'm used to just, releasing how I feel on music and just not doing it in any other platform. And doing that created a whole nother narrative and created a whole nother space. And then also, I also saw how people saw me besides just like the rapper still. They also saw me as like this father, like you know what I'm saying, like with Harmony, and just realizing like, oh, so like this gives a whole nother conversation, like this gives a whole nother perspective. And Gianni also helped me see like, yeah, bro, like, when you talk, people listen. And he's like, it's not just because you're big, because that's part of it, but
not just because your voice is loud.
Yeah, but some of it is just because it makes sense. So me and Cool Kid doing that also built a lot. What I saw from other people, it was a couple things. It kind of split down the middle. They're seeing like who's actually a survivor in this pandemic, and who's like kind of like smoke and mirrors. And also it also broke down like yo, who kind of would never respond to you before, and kind of like to the point where like bills are stacking up and I need to make a play, and cats that are on a certain level started responding to you like, hey, what's up? Yo, let's work. Let's do this. I'm like, you motherfucker, you wouldn't say shit to me if you broke. like you ain't got no like. But that's what it also did. It split that. Then also, fucking Clubhouse, bro. It created a dope platform, but it also exposed some people that's full of shit. And like you started to realize like, yo, you know what? Yeah, like you exposed a lot of people that's full of shit. Where to the point where like people were forgetting that we're in the Google era. Like people was like, yo, yeah, I'm A&R for this, I'm gonna do that, and then I Google your name. I'm like, nigga, you ain't exactly. Nigga, you work in a mailroom, like bro, like you don't even like. He was like, yeah, but you not just do that to keep it on the low. You know what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, it was like,
shout out to all the mailmen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ain't
nothing wrong with that, but don't lie.
But like, it exposed a lot of shit that was going on, and like some to the point where, just like certain people in social media, some people shouldn't have a platform. And in Smokehouse, yeah, it is Smokehouse because they were smoking. There was a lot. There was a lot of bullshit. But in Clubhouse, you just started to realize like, oh, you're really full of shit. But then there was some people that was spitting some real shit, and you was able to build from it. So that's something that happened to me during the pandemic.
One of the key things that you said, Steely, everybody said a lot of wonderful things here, in all seriousness. And I guess for me, this was my biggest learning lesson from this pandemic. And I said it on your show, the A&R effect, accessibility and relatability. I think a lot of us, right, we're all walking brands here, in all seriousness. Gianni, you included, even if you don't believe it. We're all walking brands here. And knowing how accessible you can be and how relatable you can be could take you a long way in whatever we're trying to do. And I know for me, I've been fortunate enough that the last few years, the boy's been cooking up, I'm heating up, and I'm meeting more and more people. But what this last year showed was the fact that, wow, you never really know who's watching. You never really know who, even if they were championing you, they were still quietly going, I still just want to see what he or she does, right? Like, I think about you, Regina, right? Like, how many people probably saw Regina and was like, oh, yeah, she's really dope, really talented writer, da-da-da-da-da. But then they see you grow the way you're growing. Like, yo, she really has a brand. She's doing this and that. Like, they see what Imani's doing. Yeah, she's really into music. Oh, word, we was reading the blog. And they see all of these things, and then they see what she's doing at Audio Mac and much more. Armand, again, like, really talented writer, but holy crap, this guy can podcast. He can do all this stuff. Steely, you being the prime example of A&R effect. I say this to people all the time. Like, Steely and Cool Kid, figuratively speaking, barely drop music. And yet, both of these cats combined are nearing 50K on the gram and have such great engagement because they have not only made themselves accessible, but they made themselves relatable. And they made it a lot of fun, and it's usually a big payoff. So that's what I personally have learned is just, man, the more accessible you are, the more relatable you are, the way you're able to convert that into, okay, let me put this on the story, or let me take this picture to what I'm doing privately. You realize a lot of those people come out and support you even more because they realize like, wow, me and you or extremely the same, and I like.
behind that IG brand. Like when I started like posting, just like, you know what, I don't care if I have like mad official people following me. I was just like, the more I was myself and started posting like dumb stuff, like whatever I was feeling, people were like, "Oh, she's pretty cool. Like, let me support." So definitely,
it's also a huge lesson to learn. Again, regardless of what all of our journeys are, right? Again, all of us have some sort of notoriety. All of us have chosen this life in terms of, like, we really are not only walking brands but public figures. You start realizing right away the meaning of right now at this moment. I don't care if I'm at the bottom, figuratively speaking. I'm learning what it means to control my narrative. Right here, right now, I'm learning what it means to control my narrative. I'm learning what it means to, when I do what I say, I do it because I meant it. When I say what I say, I meant because of what I said it. And it's just something that you learn regardless of the level. I'm fortunate enough that with FanDuel, Billboard, Foresight, what I did at SB Nation USA Today, you start learning these things more and more about, all right, you got to really take care of yourself here because people are watching. And you start learning that low key, people want to
pigeonhole you.
And your perspective becomes a lot valuable. It's like a lot more valuable once you necessarily open up those lines to necessarily let people be able to relate to you and be able to feel, you know what I'm saying, so they can actually take a part of you and feel like, you know what, I feel that same way too. And it's just also just a point of with your personality and knowing who you are. I was reading this thing about Nipsey. A lot of people that became fans of Nipsey became fans of Nipsey's off his interview.
Facts.
Before his music.
Of course, yeah.
And like I was a fan of Nipsey from his music, but and the crazy thing, a lot of older generations, like a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, like some people that are in their 50s and 60s, they're like, yeah, that Nipsey Hussle dude, like, you know, like they're telling me stuff that of course I know already, but it's just funny hearing them telling me, like, you know, he sold a project for $100, and then, you know, he sat here and like literally opened up like these different businesses for people, and like they caught into the point of like the actual like the movement, like, you know what I'm saying, and became so much more, and then they went to his music and like, you know what I'm saying, and fell in love with it. So yeah, it's dope. You're right. You're 100% right.
No, we all learned a lot of great lessons. I've said it before to each of you guys individually, whether it's a text, call, any random call to you, anytime we run into each other. I'm extremely proud of everybody. And just continue doing what you guys are doing, man. You guys are all absolutely meant to be great. And speaking of meaning to be great, Steely, you brought up a great topic. Again, I do this often. You talked about in our group chat about saying, you know what, now's the time to have a conversation about independent artists. Steely brought up a great point, ladies and gentlemen, but let me say, we wasn't able to really find a consensus point, but it is such a great topic that I do think, let's talk about it. Take it away, my friend.
Thank you. I feel when it comes to independent artists that, they need to be championed a little bit more, but also another thing about it is, they just have let me not say they because I'm an independent artist. We have access now that we've never had before, and like, all right, and I'm not. This is like a beautiful shameless plug, and it just worked perfectly. Platforms like Audio Mac.
No, for sure.
No, but for real, Audio Mac. It came to the point where it kind of like it took all the fluff and all the bullshit, and it's like, yo, if you have dope music, we have fans. That's all that matters. Fuck everything else. Like that's what matters.
No other platform is
exactly. And you're starting to see people really react to it. You see people hit you up. You're starting to see that. But also, just being an independent artist, lately, and at first I thought it was just me, but my peers and other people, the mainstream just has some of these flares sometimes where people rock with who they rock with, but then they go back into these artists where no one knows who they are, and like, these are my people that I fuck with, and it's like, yo, bro, we're hitting like independent artists are hitting millions of streams, we're making millions of sales, we're like people are making real money to the point where they're able to survive, and it made me question something because I told you said something that was very interesting. You was like, yo, I think this is going to be the year I get back to mainstream, and I was like,
that's okay.
What does that mean? And it was a big impact to me because I'm like, what do you mean? I've just been listening to nothing but independent. I'm like, me too. But I thought I didn't know if that was the hunger of me being an independent artist, and it's just like, nah, we're just as fucking good. I don't need that shit. I don't need what's the name. I'm just gonna stay here because this is true. And the thing about when you're an independent artist, you have a closer connection to your fans because your fans are like, don't fuck up. Like, bro, don't go up there yet and fuck up. Like,
We're rooting
we're
for you.
riding for you. Like, nigga, I'm ready to ride for you. Like, I'm buying whatever you put out. You're repping for me. Don't fuck this up. And it's because now we have to, like, this. It's instant gratification of when we fuck up because your fans will, but like, bro, your fans could be on the bus with you. Your fans could be, what's the name, at Starbucks with you. Your fan, like, they're there. They know what you do. They fuck with you. And it's like, the things that are happening now, I just don't remember it happening again. And then you said something dope, comparing necessarily the independent artists from like what year you said?
2016 to 2021.
That's
Chance versus Russ.
fucking different. Which Chance is super friends, bro. Like he has like I understand. I'm not saying he's not independent, but he's just like he got the peoples, bro. Like come on, bro. Like if you're chilling at fucking Kanye's crib and then going to chill at Obama's crib. Like, come on.
Having an Apple Music endorsed project, first of all.
Yeah,
or like having a Doritos commercial with the Backstreet Boys that was
bro.
trash.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
like you're he's just the anomaly. So let's just break it down. Russ, I respect. Let me not say respect because I respect Chance. I'm a big fan of Evan Chance. Russ, I'm not even ready. I don't
what?
I don't know. I'm not even ready. Can I finish this before you go? Where you're gonna go? Because I know something's gonna come.
Yeah,
she gonna go.
Oh my God!
About
the gun
Russ?
is always cocked, man. They're like always ready to shoot. What's the name?
If this is a game, her meter is filling up before we go.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Wait, about Russ? Okay, you're not even giving me that.
Russ and Russ's story, I feel like it's that he creates this inner hunger of like the artist that just like always felt like people shitted on them, slept on them, and like his narrative just kind of drives. Like sometimes I'm not gonna front. Russ was someone that I heard his music before and I liked it, but I didn't become a fan until I heard him talk. And even though true story, yes, he's an asshole, but he's an asshole because he needs to be. I feel like he needs to be to get where he was at. But just to wrap what I'm trying to say, independent artists nowadays necessarily it's like the playing fields are starting to get leveled. Like it's really starting to get leveled. And also because of that, we're starting to get smarter where we don't necessarily need to take certain deals. We necessarily can create, it's also still very saturated, very hard for us to get some of these things. But if you focus on your fan base and truly focus on the numbers you're doing, you really can just overcome a lot of shit and really survive in this shit. So yeah, I just think independent artists needs to be like, I think they need to be championed a lot more. We need to be championed a lot more.
Imani.
Without highlighting certain artists who are mentioned, I do agree with you, Steely. That I do agree that independent artists need to be championed.
But
That's the second time.
wait, she gonna do a but?
No, but don't do a but because this is history.
No, that's
That's 2 times.
No,
I'm out here, nigga.
I agree. Independent artists do need to be championed. That's pretty much it. I just feel like that's it. Independent artists need to be championed. I'm one of those cheerleaders. I know we're in a streaming era, but I mean, I'd rather give my dollars towards somebody who I feel deserves it, and my time and my streams are very valuable in my opinion. So I'd rather somebody I care about cash out than just some commercial industry plant or whatever, or somebody who's bullshit today and still gonna be trash shit tomorrow. But
this is all taped.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. No, the static is coming. That's why I held back a lot of my Chance and my Russ opinions. However, but the main point is independent artists should be championed, and we are cheering for you. I say that we, as in myself, music lovers, and the fact that I work for one of the biggest streaming platforms that celebrate creatives in all aspects, not just music artists, but also creatives like Arden, podcasters. So, you know.
Yeah.
Before I pass this to Armand, let me just say, because since it's been a while since we did an episode, Audio Mac being able to have its, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Imani, Audio Mac being able to have its streams counted on Billboard.
Incredible.
Huge.
Huge.
That is a game changer.
We were slept on too.
When you said that the playing field of independent artists and mainstream artists is being leveled now, like I got chills. I'm like, it's time. Let's go. Like because of stuff like that. Like it's time, and they're scared now.
And they have to. And the whole point about it, that's something also I learned through the pandemic. The power of the fans and the power of the people is so much, like, people can't hide or try to like maneuver it or make it seem like they control these people. Like, you know, this fan base that I have, they need me to sit here and tell you your shit is hot. No, they don't. Your fan, and the thing about it is about the creators and the writers and the artists. Those are the people that really care about the art. Mm-hmm. Like, those are the people that really, everyone else that tries to maneuver this shit to just fucking get a bag, bro. Like, I'm all for everyone getting a bag. Don't get it twisted. I want everyone to get paid and doing what you love and all that. But when you try to kind of like leverage certain shit and shit on some of these independent artists and some of these some of the independent artists that have fans that really will ride for them. Nah, they're coming for you, bro. You can't just you can't just shit on anybody anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not at that place anymore.
To close it out, Armand and Regina, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. There's a lot of power in being independent now. You know, it was something that people like Chance and Russ wore as a badge of honor. But even, you know, with the success they gained back then, people would look at them like, can I reach those heights? And now it's like with Audio Mac, with just being able to upload your music on any streaming service. You don't need a major label backing anymore. You don't need someone to sit and listen to your demo and be like, all right, yeah, we'll take a chance on you. We'll sign you to this. And like, you know, the narrative around labels being like, you know, evil and, you know, kind of hindering your creativity and all that. Now you can do what you want to do. You can go and set up your own shows on your own. You can build these relationships with promoters and do all that. I mean, not pandemic kind of changes it, but like there's TikTok and there's all these other things you can do to increase your fan base and stay accessible and relatable without that backing. So all the bright lights and all that about, you know, being a major label artist and all these publications who only talk to major label artists, like there are platforms for you that are focused on you and take the effort to really focus on the music and not just the name and what it can bring to the platform, but they really care about giving notoriety to the people who deserve it. So,
but also you guys too, though.
Yeah,
like you write, like writers actually sitting here taking the time to talk to them and being like, "Yo, you're fucking dope."
Yeah,
and them seeing like for example, like y'all, like you guys write for big publications, and for you to sit here and talk to some of these artists and be like, "Yo, I fuck with your music. I follow what you're doing." You knowing their name, like, bro, I really follow you as a writer. Like, you sitting here taking your time out to really sit here and talk about an artist and really and
he be going in depth.
And like, bro, like you understand that, like
minutes,
that shit is a battery pack.
Yeah.
That shit, like you understand this, like it's to the point where like once you do that, we're like on something like, no, you can't tell us shit. It's just working. It's going somewhere. I'm moving. I'm making an impact, and that's the thing about it.
That was the most exciting part about, not to plug myself, but getting on Pitchfork the Ones and writing about Capella Gray. Because I talked to him personally about it just to make sure I credited him properly and everything, and he was excited about it as if like he'd never been written about before. I was like, yo, why does no one know?
Has he never been written?
I like the way he was acting made it seem. No, I know Arden wrote about it.
I had the first piece about him, and you followed up. Let's go.
Wait, you guys are on early because he is.
And like, I'm like, yo, why do you have so little follow? And not the follower count matters, but it's like, you're so talented. More people should know about you. So me being able to do that, like, of course, amazing to get on Pitchfork, but amazing to give the platform to someone who deserves it. And that's why I love that column, The Ones, because you can find out about so many
that's the point.
Like up and coming artists who should be bigger just by reading that and contributing.
Hey, after the show, we're gonna have a nice little conversation about Capella, because he's different. Shout out to 914, shout out to Uptown. Regina, close it out.
Perfect segue, because everybody, you know, we've said champion artists millions of times in this conversation, but I want to say from a writer's perspective, from a journalist perspective, like what I've seen clear as day is like, okay, I have to write about, let's say, like a mainstream artist, whatever. Like, people interact with that, cool, because they know the name, Cardi B, whatever, Drake. But quite frankly, like, whenever I write I'm definitely snitching on myself. I don't really give a fuck. So, like, sometimes I'll be given a certain number of things to do per day, and then, like, I'll slip in, like, not a friend, but more so somebody that I believe in that doesn't really have that follower account, and I'll slip in, like, a news article or something like that, like a super tiny artist. That article will be the biggest article of the day, because that one gets the most retweets, the most like, oh shit, like. So I just want to let publications and all these big media companies know that, like, the people want to hear about the smaller artists and like the local art. I don't want to use local artists, but like those artists more, and like, because the people that see them get that platform, they're so excited. They'll retweet it.
They feel like they're part of it.
Yeah, and then they see this video got on Revolt or something like that, and that article will blow up and be like, yo, congrats, bro. So that's where the real hype and the real love is, and that's really rewarding as like a writer and as because like that's the point. I feel like that really is that's not like my life mission. That's a lot bigger and there's a lot of work to do. But as of right now, at this point in my career, definitely the most rewarding part is to use the access that I have to, you know, put other people on to these.
You guys just saved like 30 careers. You don't even realize that. I'm dead serious, because when people hear that and people feel like they can go to Audio Mac and they feel like people like that are looking out for them, it makes them feel like, okay, this is not a fucking what's the name? Like it's not a shot in the dark. Yeah.
Honestly, it's because we're all independent artists ourselves. Like I know what it's like to promote myself and put myself out there and have my own fan base or audience, I guess, so to say. So you know, in a sense, like I know what that feeling is, and I'm sure everyone else can relate. You know, we push our own things outside of our 9-to-5s or outside of like you know, anything else we might be working on, but you know, we're all independent ourselves.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Steely, great point. Great topic. Way to go. We'll definitely work that into what we do on this show on the commission. Last topic we got on the day. Earlier this week, as we filming this right now, ladies and gentlemen, it was the 4-year. Again, there's something special about that number 4. There was the 4-year anniversary of Kendrick Lamar's Damn. This project that came out in 2017 was one that literally sparked a lot of reaction. Of course, it was extremely successful. And its legacy 4 years later, even though a lot of people love it, I will say, you know, it's still a little debatable. But that's what I have these guys here for. Armand, start us off with you.
The debate.
So I'll just throw this out, and I'm sure this is gonna get some reactions. But Damn is my personal favorite Kendrick album.
Really?
I mean, the only reaction it would get is the fact that I feel the same way. So
Okay,
I guess I'm just agreeable today.
you are. Yeah, this is new.
This planet is out of orbit.
She's like, damn.
Mercury's in
There's a reason
reggaeton.
why they say 9 out of 10. Today's the one.
The next episode, she's gonna come back spicy, like just.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting over there.
And so yeah, it's my personal favorite Kendrick album, and it's something that I can proudly stand on because in 2017 we got the album More Life by Drake. You guys know my Drake allegiance, and
Hey,
You
brother,
know.
hey. Playlist.
yes, playlist, right? Playlist More Life, but
Shitless?
you know
And she's back.
She's back!
we're here.
And she's
I said that on
back.
purpose because I knew you was going to say that.
And
We talked about it
she's
before.
back.
It's usually Drake that gets her slanders too.
Yo.
It's usually
True.
Drake.
True.
But so when More Life dropped, I was obviously talking a bunch about it. I was hyping it up, album of the year already, blah blah blah, playlist of the year, whatever.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
Humble came out, and people were like, "Oh, Damn is already better than More Life just based off Humble." And I wanted to slander Humble, but I loved Humble. And then Damn came out, and I remember this weekend so vividly. It was my first time doing a certain thing, and I was sitting listening to it, and Love came on with Zakari. I've
Yeah,
never known how to pronounce it.
Zakari. Salute
Oh
to
my
him, he's
god,
dope.
that song.
And I was just tripping out on something, and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect! Like this is literally a perfect
All the
song."
feels just left your
Yes,
body.
like I felt love hearing that, but then Pride, Fear, DNA.
I'm
Put
like,
some
it's
respect
just-
on that
it's
project name.
So many
I'm not
good
gonna say that. Yeah, I
songs
gotta-
on
just
that
remind me.
project. So for me, it's like
Someone say it.
I can't deny it. Kendrick did what he's always done in his career, giving us conscious messages and packaged it into commercial sounding music that anyone's ear could enjoy. And it was just masterful. It's something that you really can't deny. Kendrick gets a lot of flack for maybe being underwhelming on features or for being too conscious or whatever. People think he's bad on features. Yeah, I don't love his features, but anyways, Damn is just if you're an artist who thinks that you have to go one direction, look at Damn and realize that you're capable of having substantial messages and putting it into something that anyone is going to want to hear. I love the album. I revisit it often. It's an album I can listen to in the gym. Driving to it is amazing. And I'm looking forward to what he has next because Damn has withstood the test of time for me.
I'm happy you said that, and Regina said something in between, was because 4 years ago, I was still in this place. 4 years later, I still am. Damn is still my least like Kendrick album to me.
Is there a specific reason? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's honestly, and like saying this, all jokes aside, it has nothing to do with More Life. Even though back in those days, I used to take part in the Drake.
It was literally.
I used to take part in those debates all the time. But in all seriousness, I was somebody who loved To Pimp a Butterfly, and I saw some of his mainstream potential with Good Kid, Mad City, and I personally felt like Damn was. I just didn't like how forced of a mainstream I didn't like how forced of a mainstream attempt it was because they knew they had because they knew they had to get back the mainstream audience after making To Pimp a Butterfly, after the fact that when Kenny was performing, he was doing little jazz clubs, figuratively speaking, and they felt like they had to get it back. It was like I knew the play, I sensed it, but I just wasn't feeling it for what it was. There's some records I like. I like Love, U2, of course DNA, Humble. Out of the 14, 15 records, I still like 5 or 6. But I didn't love it the way I did with
Wasn't that whole album on Billboard?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. I'm just again.
No, I'm just trying. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, like
and it smoked More Life in the first week sales. Like, smoked it.
Which
I mean, not surprising.
I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean,
honestly,
you know what it is? It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise because again, when you drop it randomly on a Saturday with no promotion, I mean, that should outsell, even though it is Drizzy.
Here they go.
But for me, like I was saying before I pass it back to you guys, I just didn't like it as much. And I listened back to it on the anniversary, and I still felt that same way, even though some of the records did get back a little better to me.
Yeah.
No, but I was getting killed for it because I knew I knew the critics was gonna love it because Kendrick always gets like 95s and up from critical reviews, and I already knew the fans were gonna love it. So I just died on the cross at the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those artists that you can't critique.
This is like one of the very rare time we disagree. And like, yeah, that's crazy.
Did I transfer my abilities to
I think you did.
No, it's very rare for people to disagree with me.
Yeah,
but it's fun when
very
it happens.
rare. It's extremely rare, actually. And like, yeah, I can't front. I'm sorry, is this a segue to me?
No, you can go ahead and talk. I just wanted to throw it out.
No, you're right. And yeah. All right, so Damn is not my favorite record. I'm a favorite album from Kendrick. It's probably my second favorite because Good Kid, Mad City is just holds a special place in my heart. It's just a big deal to me, and I just feel like I think the reason why Good Kid, Mad City is just a lot of relatable situations is why I love it. What's the name? But I think Damn is the most. I think even stat wise, Damn is the most successful album. Yeah,
for him
right?
by far. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Pimp a Butterfly. I feel like Pimp a Butterfly was I love the idea of it. It didn't. The records did not transfer over like how it did. What's the name? Yeah, the idea was amazing, but record wise, there's not. Damn, I can let play, and I'll just let it play, and I'm fine with it. Same thing with Good Kid, Mad City. The thing about Damn, I think Damn necessarily, it showed how broad of an artist he can be, and it gave so many different aspects, like musically, like he really. It really showed to the point where like he wasn't just like this one type of dude that has. It gave so many different type of what's the name? Like it gave so many different vibes, so many different feels, lyrical content from just everything. It literally owned the summer. Like it owned my summer. It. And the thing about it was,
People
it was like
Summer 17.
Yeah,
great music. Summer.
You're right about
Great
that.
music.
It really was, and it owned my summer, and it's something to the point where like I feel like it's just it was a great piece of work.
So to wrap this up, Regina, my thoughts is all over the place just hearing the damn talk. But when it
he hates it that much.
When it comes to this next Kendrick project, right? If you had to describe what your expectations are with less than 5 words, what would it be?
Damn,
I'm counting.
I'm glad he gave you that one.
Because I have an actual like opinion, but I don't think it's gonna be what you think. I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna say it anyway.
Audible, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody's gonna agree with this, but obviously Kendrick is definitely one of my favorite rappers of all time, undoubtedly, and I will be okay with him just like calling it quits here. I feel like he's given us enough, and like I'm not really like begging for more Kendrick music, not because I don't want it, but because it's like I'm I'm a type of fan that like doesn't beg artists for music because you know they're their own people at the end of the day, and I feel like he has given us. What'd you say?
He said you better than me.
No, yeah, I'm never like I want the Drake album, but I'm not like, oh my god, where is it? Like I'm never like I know, but like
Drake's the only.
Yeah,
Money. It's just
money.
With any artist I love, before I pass it back to Regina, Steely, I told you I needed to do
yeah, but I don't.
I feel like Arden drives by and puts the window down.
Where at? Is he in the studio right now?
Yeah, I'm saying put the shit
Nah,
back.
but yeah, I'm glad you asked me that question because I actually have an answer to be like, I don't know. Like, I will enjoy what he's given us. And I know for a fact that all of his music is going to age like a fine wine. So that's enough for me. He's given us so much. He's an amazing artist. He's one of the best. And I've been able to witness it because my peak years as like a hip hop fan, he was like one of the biggest. So I'm content with that.
Is it because you don't want him to fuck it up? Is that what?
No, it's not that. It's just I mean that too. I don't know.
Yeah, like, you know, like
that's not a reason, but that's a valid reason. But yeah, I'm just satisfied with what Kendrick Lamar has given us.
He's got what, technically 4 studio albums? Kendrick 4?
Yeah, right. Section.
Not a lot of people who can say I've only got 4 studio albums and like
and I'm a GOAT.
I have fans who are okay with just that. Like they're okay with me not giving it. Like there's a lot of artists who are on album 5 now and like.
Hey, if we had more time, boy, did I had another subtopic when it came to this. But we'll save that for episode 5.
Please.
Imani, as I pass back to you, I know for me personally, in all seriousness, I have no expectation.
Why do you hate Kendrick Lamar?
No, it's not even.
Wow.
It's honestly, you know what it is? Because going into Damn after To Pimp a Butterfly, that was my first time having expectations from a Kendrick album.
Yeah.
And because of, again, his versatility, literally, I have no expectations. Okay. But I'm also at a point where my musical palette, I think what it's called, has grown so much that he might mess around and make a Damn 2.0, 3.0, whatever 0.0, and I might like it this time because my palette has grown.
Yeah.
In less than 5 words, the only things that come to mind with Kendrick Lamar's upcoming album are comparison is The Thief of Joy.
Boom.
And I only say that because Kendrick Lamar has taken us into his world time and time again through all these different albums, and I would just hate for somebody to be like, hey, this is great, but it's no Good Kid, Mad City, or oh man, it ain't touching Damn, or just like I just hate like the comparison to like the upcomers, like maybe because I'm just protective of JID, I just love that rapper, but they're like, oh, I hear the Kendrick comparisons all the time, like, oh, he's a new school Kendrick, like, can't we just
new school?
Yeah, he's just JID.
Can't we like just get along?
But also, it's not a bad thing to be inspired by one of the arguable goats.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not, but I hear what you're saying.
Because when people do compare, it's just because there's something that they can relate to or they see that would be similar to why they would bring it up. And it's not exactly an insult, but it's kind of just like, can we just let the art speak for itself at the same time?
But I think you're speaking from a creative standpoint, because being a creator, I can understand like how you don't want to be compared to something, or even to the point where
don't compare me to nobody. I'd rather not be mentioned. I'm offended. Please.
But then that's the same. But at the same time, to fans wise, that's the easiest way for them to accept you.
Yeah.
For them to be able to compare.
But then I don't think that's good in the long run though, because then they're gonna always compare him to Kendrick for what?
I think you get compared, and then you like, for example, when JID first came out, I heard the Kendrick comparisons. If you're just getting on JID, you feel like that. But if you've been following JID is JID. Like, he becomes who he is, and like that's it. But if you need that to usher me in real quick,
to break
and then do that, fuck it. It's like
pitch.
that. Because JID, like, honestly, like, he's gonna get the keys to Dreamville.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like,
I feel like everybody knows.
Yeah, he's like Cole's probably been give it to him. Like, yo, can you not give these shits back?
Cole, like, bro, I'm trying to retire, please.
And that's what makes it so funny as we wait. Steely, real quick. Any expectations for that album?
It's different for me. My expectation is just because I need inspiration. So it's like, my only thing is just I just want a dope album. So like that's my only, and I don't think he'll fail me in any way, because I'm in love with his pen, like how he creates, and necessarily his perspective. That's something that always stands out to me with Kendrick. Yeah. His perspective is always not necessarily what you think it's going to be. It's always something. It always has a broad spectrum. So I fuck with it.
And sorry to cut you off, Arden, but I'm just thinking, like, with what's been going on in the world the last few years, like with all of the everything that Black people had to deal with during the pandemic, like my mind immediately went to, I want to hear what Kendrick has to say about this. To Pimp a Butterfly was perfectly timed, and it was like I couldn't think of anyone better to really speak on what society was dealing with at the time, and he really put it in a special way.
I think Cole took that bullet for him because I think that wasn't it wasn't for no name. I don't think that was for Cole. I think that was for Kendrick.
Think so?
Yeah, when she was like, some of us not speaking, I don't think that was for Cole.
A hit dog gonna holler though. He sure felt offended.
That is true. But yeah, I'm very interested to hear his perspective on all of this. So,
me too. Hey guys, great talk. For the next episode, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek at a potential topic. With all this retirement talk, I do want to talk about for next episode, and hold your horses if you guys are potentially ready. Have we ever been in another era in rap where we had all got accustomed to at one point realizing that our greats may retire sooner than possible?
Such a good topic.
But you gotta wait till next time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Arden, head honcho, Pfizer Poppy, can't stop me.
Pfizer Poppy can't stop me.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of The Commission. Of course, man, this show wouldn't happen without the Avengers that I got. Stilion, Imani, Armand, Regina, Gianni behind the camera, making sure the vision is ever so captured beautifully. This is me. I'm out.
Foresight, episode 4.
Yo, my outros are so nice.
Yo.